Hi everybody, ladies, today's video is especially for you, and it's also for you gents if you work with female clients in your healing practice or you have a wife or partner that you work with at home. Today's video is all about my top 5 crystals for helping period pain. Ladies, I know you hear me when I say that period pain can be really debilitating. Up until I had children, I didn't really appreciate what all the fuss was about because my periods were quite painless. I never had PMS symptoms, and really my periods were quite a breeze. But after having kids, my body changed, and now my periods can really sweep the rug from under my feet, and I can experience quite severe pain as well as feeling physically sick, low energy, mood swings, all of that stuff that so many of us have to deal with on a monthly basis. So I prefer not to medicate where possible when I've got period pain and work with my crystals and natural healing techniques instead. And I'm going to share with you my 5 top stones that I use on myself and on my clients to help get through period pain. Okay, my number 5 pick is rose quartz. Rose quartz is a beautiful soft pink stone, and the energy of the stone is super nurturing, super loving. It is typically a stone for the heart chakra, being pink. It opens the heart chakra and expands the heart chakra, but it's one of my favorite stones to use for any type of traumatic pain experience. I also talked about rose quartz in my video about headache pain. So I use it for body pain, including period pain. But incidentally, rose quartz is one of my favorite stones to use for fertility and in pregnancy. So it does really resonate and connect with that divine feminine energy, because being pink, being of the heart, it really speaks to a woman's emotional world, as women do tend to be perhaps this is a generalization, but a little bit more emotionally open than a lot of men. Certainly not all men, guys. There's some guys out there are absolutely very open-hearted and expanded in the heart chakra. But generally speaking, women resonate more with the pink stones and the heart and the emotional stones. And so rose quartz not only brings that quality of the divine feminine, that nurturing, that love, that mother love, that grandmother love energy to the pain and the healing space, but also the fact that it's a fertility stone too. So it does resonate with the female reproductive organs specifically. So by placing rose quartz over the ovaries or the uterus when you have period pain, it will help, perhaps not so much to dull the pain experience as some of these other crystals will do, but it will certainly help you perhaps connect more to your divine feminine energy, to feel a little bit more empowered, a little bit more nurtured through this pain experience. So I would recommend using rose quartz in conjunction with some of the other stones that maybe are a little more effective for numbing and dulling the pain as a support stone through that time. My number 4 pick for stones to help with period pain is Chrysoprase. So Chrysoprase is a beautiful mint green stone. It's translucent. It does resonate a lot with the heart chakra, being green, but I love it because the energy of Chrysoprase is very crisp, very cool, very calming and soothing. So Chrysoprase, along with another stone that I'll mention in a moment, is very good for softening and cooling inflammation in the body. It can be used anywhere on the body without disrupting the energy field too much. And it is excellent because, ladies, you know, when you have period pain, it's a very hot, throbbing kind of pain, and Chrysoprase helps to really calm that down. It's a little bit like throwing a wet blanket over a fire. So it just instantly brings that crisp, cooling, soothing energy to the space and helps filter and draw out that hot inflammation and that feeling of just throbbing that can be in your womb and in your ovaries during period time. That's why it makes the cut at number 4. Coming in at number 3 is a stone that's very similar to Chrysoprase from a healing perspective, which is green fluorite. Green fluorite often comes in these octahedron cuts, which is 8 sides. And green fluorite is my all-time favorite stone for working on inflammation in the body. Just like chrysoprase, it can be used all over the body without interfering with the energetic field too much. And it is amazing for bringing cooling energy to an inflamed part of the body. So I use fluorite, I use green fluorite as well for arthritic pain too, not only period pain. So any pain that's to do with inflammation in the organs, in the joints, in the muscles, fluorite is amazing. So you can place this, a fluorite stone, over each ovary or over the womb and visualize that inflammation being calmed, the angriness subsiding, the intensity subsiding, and that beautiful mint green, fresh, cooling energy of the fluorite just being imparted to all of your lower organs and soothing them. The number 2 stone that I have is a little bit controversial because technically it's not for period pain. In fact, it might actually worsen pain. But the reason why I've added it to this list is because it's an amazing stone to use during your period to enhance and optimize the cleansing process. Before I tell you what it is, I'm just going to talk a little bit about how the body's physical processes are mimicked energetically. So when a woman menstruates and the blood is shed, it's a cleansing process. The blood, the cells, everything that's been built up in the womb over the weeks prior to potentially nourish and grow a new life are released. They're let go, they're cleansed to start that process afresh. So it's the body's way of coming back and recalibrating and cleansing to come back to square one. A lot of women, myself included, might notice that as the cycle month goes on, that your belly becomes a little bit swollen. You might start getting bloating, things like that. And then after you've had your period, everything kind of deflates. The inflammation goes, the pain goes, the bloating goes, and you're back to like a clean slate, back to day one. So it's the body's natural purging cycle of the lower reproductive organs. And this stone is my favorite stone to use for any cleansing process because it can work with the body to help purge any energy that's being stored in the womb and ovary areas. So ladies, we carry a lot of energy in this part of our body, which is life-giving energy, growth energy, nurturing, and really powerful life force energy. But we also hold a lot of trauma in our womb space. So sexual trauma, pain trauma, growth trauma as we transition through the stages of womanhood. We hold a lot of trauma here. And so by working with this stone, we can kind of work with the natural body's purging and cleansing process to unleash and release some of that energetic trauma that we've been holding on to as well. And the stone is Carnelian. I have talked about Carnelian before in previous videos. So by placing a Carnelian on the womb area during your cycle, especially during day 1 and 2 when your period is heaviest, we can capture the body's purging energy and use it as an opportunity to release trauma that we may be holding. This is especially relevant to those of us who have perhaps experienced miscarriage, pregnancy loss, any form of sexual abuse or sexual trauma, polycystic ovarian syndrome, abortion, things like that, any kind of process that has affected the womb and the reproductive organs, and that can mean that this area is holding on to any trauma. Using Carnelian with the blood, with the natural period release cycle, can help purge us and cleanse the area. And by doing this, so although it might actually make that period more painful, by bringing all of that yuckiness and pain into light and to release, so it can actually make the pain feel worse in that moment, in the long run and for subsequent periods, it can actually mean that they are not so painful, not so inflamed, and that a lot of that trauma has been released. So that's why this stone, Carnelian, makes it to my number 2. And finally, my absolute favorite stone for working with to support the body and to reduce period pain and inflammation is Labradorite. So Labradorite is not typically known for being a pain-reducing stone. In fact, Labradorite is most often used in the higher chakras because it's a very mystical stone. It's very good for meditation, for truth-seeking, for absorbing wisdom and seeing things for how they really are. But Labradorite is a stone that contains a lot of feminine energy. It's color changing, it's iridescent, and it works very well with women who are going through a transition period. So this might be transitioning through puberty, through menopause, through the menstrual cycle, through pregnancy. So any of those really huge energetic and physical shifts that a woman can transition through, Labradorite can be an amazing companion during these times. Interestingly enough, and I can't explain why, but Labradorite I've found is very effective in siphoning out period pain, even though it's not a stone that is typically known for reducing pain or inflammation in the body, and I don't seem to have as much success with it working on other areas of the body, say like the fluorite or Chrysoprase, which can be put anywhere in the body for pain. Labradorite's pain healing properties seem to be very localized and very specific to period pain, in my experience. So that's not to say that your experience might not be different. So we resonate differently with all kinds of stones, and there is no one size or one rule fits all approach when we talk about crystal healing. So I found it very powerful for reducing period pain almost instantaneously. So within seconds of placing Labradorite over my ovaries or over my uterus, I find that the pain instantly subsides. And I've recommended this to a lot of my clients and a lot of students who have done my courses, and overwhelmingly they found the same thing. So hey ladies, I'm passing on the knowledge here. I'm just sharing the tips, sharing the wisdom. Hopefully it works for you as effectively as it works for me. But this is my number one pick for dealing with period pain because it is so fast, so effective, and really makes the cut. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting my channel. I hope you've learned something today that you can take home and help you through your next period. Also, if you're working with female clients, some healing and some wisdom that you can pass on for them. If you'd love to learn more about crystals, whether you'd like to do a beginner course or maybe you're thinking about becoming a crystal healing practitioner, then please check out my website, www.evolvehealing.net. I offer a range of professional and beginner crystal healing courses, and you can learn a lot more. Thank you guys. I'll see you next time.